Hey everyone, I'm Linda. I'm 28 and I run a tech company in San Francisco. Sounds pretty amazing, right? But let me tell you, the road to get here was anything but smooth. It all started when I was 15. My world was turned upside down when my parents split up. My dad, Robert, was this brilliant software engineer who built his own company from scratch, pouring everything he had into it. My mom, Melissa, felt left out. Next thing I knew, she was having an affair with my math teacher, Frank. Imagine the awkward parent-teacher conferences after that. One night, Dad broke the news to me, his voice cracking. Linda, your mother and I are getting a divorce. I was stunned. But why? What about us? What about the family? He sighed, running a hand through his graying hair. Sometimes, honey, people change. Your mother, she's chosen a different path. The divorce was ugly. Mom left with Frank, and just like that, she was gone. No goodbye, no explanation. Just poof. We'll make it work, kiddo, Dad told me, forcing a smile. You and me against the world. And we did. He threw himself into teaching me everything about the business, having me sit in on meetings, learning the ropes. Pay attention, Liv, he'd say. One day, all this will be yours. I didn't know how soon that day would come. When I was 24, Dad got sick. Cancer. It hit hard and fast. From his hospital bed, he whispered, "Promise me you'll take care of the company. It's your legacy now." I held his hand, tears streaming down my face. I promised, Dad. I'll make you proud. And just like that, he was gone. At 24, I found myself running a multi-million-dollar tech company. Talk about being thrown into the deep end. But you know what? I swam. In the past 4 years, I've nearly doubled the company's value. Dad would be proud. At least I hope he would. As for Mom, I haven't heard from her in years. She has a new family now with Frank, twins named Michael and Emma. They're 10. I think we've never met. Maybe that sounds harsh, but after what she did, can you blame me? Miss Reeves, your 2 o'clock is here. My assistant's voice crackles over the intercom, snapping me back to the present. Thanks, Sarah. I'll be right there, I reply, straightening my blazer. I take a deep breath, pushing away the memories. This is my life now. CEO of Reeves Tech, carrying on my father's legacy. It's not always easy, but I wouldn't have it any other way. As I head to the meeting, I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror. I see Dad's determination in my eyes, his strength in my stance. I've come a long way from that heartbroken 15-year-old girl, ready to change the world. I ask my reflection, a small smile playing on my lips. Yeah, I think I am. Watch out, world. Linda Reeves is just getting started. Later that day, I'm at my desk, sipping my morning coffee when my phone pings. I nearly choke when I see the sender, Melissa Tanner, my estranged mother. What could she possibly want after all these years? My hand shakes as I open the email. The words blur, but their meaning is clear. Melissa and Frank are dying. 6 months to live, and they want me to split Dad's company with their kids. You've got to be kidding me, I mutter, slamming my mug down. My assistant, Sarah, pokes her head in. Everything okay, Miss Reeves? I shake my head. No, not really. Can you get Mike from legal up here? 20 minutes later, Mike's reading the email, his brow furrowed. What do you think? I ask, pacing. Legally, they don't have a leg to stand on. The company's yours, fair and square, he says. I run a hand through my hair, but morally, they're dying, Mike. And those kids, they're innocent in all this. He nods, but reminds me, remember what your mother did. The affair, abandoning you and your dad. Are you sure this isn't just another ploy? His words spark something in me. He's right. I need to be sure. I grab my phone and dial a number I haven't used in years. Michael, it's Linda Reeves. I've got a job for you. Michael, my go-to private investigator. If anyone can get to the bottom of this, it's him. 3 days later, I'm blindsided again. Michael's report confirms it. Melissa and Frank are terminally ill. I'm lost in thought when Sarah bursts in. Miss Reeves, there's a situation downstairs. The employees, they heard about the email. My heart sinks. How? I don't know, but they're worried, talking about job security, the future of the company. I take a deep breath. Okay, call an emergency meeting. All department heads now. An hour later, I'm facing a room full of anxious faces. I know you've all heard rumors, I begin. Yes, my mother has made a request regarding the company, but I want to assure you, nothing's changing. This company, your jobs, they're safe. Tom from marketing raises his hand. But if you split the company, that's not happening. I cut him off firmly. This company was my father's life's work. It's my legacy. I won't let anyone threaten that. The room relaxes, but I can still feel the tension. Later that night, alone in my office, I stare at a photo of Dad and me. What would you do, Dad? I whisper. My phone rings, jolting me out of my thoughts. It's an unknown number. Hello? Linda? It's Melissa. My blood runs cold. How did you get this number? Please don't hang up. I know you got my email. We need to talk. We have nothing to talk about. Linda, please, I'm dying. This might be our last chance. Our last chance. I repeat, my voice ice cold. You gave up any chance when you walked out on us. Goodbye, Melissa. I hang up, my hands shaking. My eyes drift to the photo of Dad and me on my desk. I won't let them take what's ours, Dad. I promise. But I can't shake the feeling that something isn't right. Melissa's sudden reappearance, the convenient terminal illness, the demand for half of Dad's company hits all too neat, too convenient. I pick up my phone again and dial Michael, my private investigator. I need you to dig deeper, way deeper. Go back to before the divorce. I want to know everything. A week later, I'm sitting in my office, staring at the files Michael sent over. My hands shake as I open the first one. No, this can't be right. But it is. Financial records, encrypted emails, everything lays out a trail of deceit that makes me sick. I press the intercom button. Sarah, get Mike up here. Now. When Mike arrives, I'm pacing the office like a caged animal. What's going on, Linda? You look like you've seen a ghost. I laugh bitterly. Worse, I've seen the truth. I shove the files at him. His eyes widen as he reads. Holy, is this for real? Frank was embezzling, and your mother, she knew. I nod, clenching my jaw. Not just knew, she helped. They were planning to push Dad out and take over the company. Mike whistles under his breath. This changes everything. Their claim on the company, it's not just baseless, it's fraudulent. I need to confront them, I say, reaching for my phone. But Mike grabs my arm. Whoa, slow down. We need to be smart about this. If we play our cards right, we can shut them down for good. I take a deep breath, trying to calm the rage boiling inside me. You're right. What do you suggest? We spend the next few hours plotting, and by the end, I feel a glimmer of hope for the first time since this mess started. The next day, I call Melissa. Linda, I'm so glad you called. Have you thought about our request? I force myself to keep my voice steady. I have. In fact, I'd like to meet to discuss the terms. There's a triumphant note in her voice that makes me sick. That's wonderful, darling. When and where? Tomorrow, my office. Bring Frank and the kids. After hanging up, I call Michael. I need you here tomorrow. Bring everything you've got. The next day, I stand at my office window as they arrive. Melissa, Frank, and 2 kids I assume are Michael and Emma, my half-siblings. The thought leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. Linda, darling, Melissa coos as she enters. It's been too long. I fix her with a cold stare. Not long enough, apparently. Frank steps forward, putting on a mask of concern. Linda, I know this is difficult, but we're family. Family? I spit out the word. Is that what you call it when you steal from your family? When you plot to ruin them? The color drains from their faces. Melissa recovers first. I don't know what you're talking about. We're here about the future, not the past. I give her a humorless smile. Up with the past is very relevant, especially when it involves fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. I nod to Sarah, who opens the door. Michael walks in, carrying a thick file. What's going on? Frank demands, his face paling. Who's this? This, I say, is the beginning of the end for your little scheme. Did you really think I'd just hand over half of Dad's company? The company you tried to steal. Melissa opens her mouth to speak, but I cut her off. Save it. I have all the proof I need. Now let's talk about how this is really going to go down. I gesture to the conference table. Please, take a seat. Melissa and Frank exchange nervous glances before sitting down. They look around, noticing for the first time the unexpected crowd that has gathered. Linda, Who are all these people? Melissa hisses, her voice wavering. I smile coolly. Oh, just some interested parties. You wanted to discuss the company's future, right? Well, these folks have a stake in that too. I nod to Sarah, who starts the presentation. As damning evidence flashes across the screen, I watch the color drain from Frank and Melissa's faces. I address the room, my voice steady. As you can see, we have clear evidence of embezzlement and conspiracy dating back years. A representative from the SEC leans forward, eyes locked on Melissa and Frank. Miss Reeves, he says gravely, this is very serious. We'll need to launch a full investigation immediately, the SEC representative declares. Frank jumps up, face flushed with anger. Now, wait just a minute. You can't. Sit down, Mr. Walker. I cut him off, voice steady. We're just getting started. I continue revealing the entire sordid plan. How they plotted to push my father out, the affair, every betrayal. With each revelation, Melissa and Frank sink further into their seats. Linda, please, Melissa pleads, her voice wavering. We can explain. Save it, I snap, my tone unyielding. I'm not finished. I turn to the twins, Michael and Emma, who look stunned. I'm sorry you got dragged into this, but there's something else you need to know. I slide a DNA test across the table. Frank isn't your biological father. The room erupts in chaos. Frank lunges toward Melissa, fury blazing in his eyes, while board members shout in disbelief. The SEC rep steps aside, already dialing his phone. I slam my hand on the table. Enough. The room falls silent. Here's what's going to happen. I say, my voice cold and resolute. The SEC will conduct a full investigation. Your assets will be frozen. And you, I fix my gaze on Melissa and Frank, will face the consequences of your actions. The board chairman stands, his voice filled with emotion. Miss Reeves, I speak for all of us when I say you have our full support. Your father would be proud. As security escorts Melissa and Frank out of the building, I feel an immense weight lift from my shoulders. It's over. But as I watch them go, my thoughts drift to Michael and Emma, who look lost, caught in the crossfire of their parents' mistakes. A month later, I'm sitting at my desk, signing papers for the Robert Reeves Foundation, a new charity dedicated to supporting children affected by divorce. Are you sure about this, Linda? Mike asks, watching me closely. You don't owe them anything. I pause, thinking of Dad. It's not about owing. I reply, a soft smile tugging at my lips. It's about healing, and maybe helping prevent others from going through what I did. That evening, as I leave the office, I feel lighter than I have in years. Dad's company is thriving, justice has been served, and I'm turning my pain into something positive. I look up at the night sky, feeling Dad's presence. We did it, Dad, I whisper. Your legacy is secure, and I'm finally free. I climb into my car, ready for whatever comes next. The past no longer haunts me, and the future, it's looking brighter than ever. Discussion prompt. If you were in Linda's shoes, would you offer any financial support to Michael and Emma, knowing they were innocent victims of their parents' actions? Or would you maintain firm boundaries, considering everything she's been through? This is a complex moral dilemma. On one hand, the twins are innocent and didn't choose their circumstances. On the other, Linda has no obligation to them and has already suffered because of their parents' actions. What would you do in this situation? Would you extend help or stand firm? Share your thoughts below.